How's it going, very important people? We realize that not everyone who watches our videos spends their days immersed in the world of information technology, and I envy you for that. But if you're looking to make changes to your tech setup, or you're just trying to decode what your IT guy means when he uses words like RAM or access point, then this video is for you. Today I'm going to decode some of that tech jargon to help make your life easier, starting with Task Manager. In the computer world, the Task Manager does not refer to your micromanaging boss. Rather, it refers to an interface that monitors applications and programs that are currently being used by your computer. It will also tell you the overall status of your computer. The Task Manager can also be used to terminate ongoing programs if there's a problem, and it can be accessed either by searching in your menu or using Control-Alt-Delete, and I've linked to our Control-Alt-Delete video that goes a little more in depth on that in the description. Reboot. Reboots are used when your computer encounters a problem, and there are two types of reboot. There's a hard reboot and a soft reboot, and we don't ever recommend that you use a hard reboot. That's when power is forcefully removed from your computer, causing it to shut down. So either by flipping the switch on the back of your desktop or just straight up unplugging it. It's not a good idea. You risk data corruption and you can potentially wreck your computer this way. A soft reboot, on the other hand, will restore your computer to a previously working version. A soft reboot is going to preserve as much RAM and other data as possible when you restart it. Soft reboots are generally performed by going to the Start menu and selecting the Restart option, or using the Control-Alt-Delete function to force a restart that way. Control-Alt-Delete itself was actually intended to be a way to perform a soft reboot without losing data, and there's a video on that I'll link to in the description. Speaking of RAM, it stands for Random Access Memory, and it refers to all of the data that is currently being used by your computer. Think of RAM as your computer's short-term memory. This is what is going to allow you to pick up where you left off when you were last using your computer. So RAM is kind of a big deal. Backups. A backup is a copy of your computer's data that is used to restore it in the event of data loss. The right kind of backup will make a copy of not only your files, but your system settings and preferences and your programs. It's going to basically take a snapshot of your entire computer at a certain point in time. A backup is a noun referring to the copy of data itself, and to backup is the act of backing up your data. Router. A router is a networking device that forwards data packets within a computer network. A router is what's going to pass the internet connection to the devices that need it. Basically, routers perform the traffic directing functions of information from the internet to the device that's requesting it. Modem. A modem establishes and maintains a connection to your internet service provider so that you can have internet connection in your home or workplace. A modem converts, but the term that should be used is modulates, incoming and outgoing signals so that they can be interpreted by a computer in a digital format and by the internet in an analog format. Modems and routers can actually be combined into the same device. This is commonly what you see in home use. Access point. In computer networking, a wireless access point, or more commonly just access point, is what's going to allow devices to join a network. The AP usually connects to the router as a separate device, but there are some routers that have the AP as an integral component of the device. LAN and WAN. Now, technically these are two separate things, but I'm going to cover both of them because they're definitely not mutually exclusive. So a local area network, or LAN, is a network that connects all the devices within a limited area. So that's going to be like a school or an office or a laboratory, a university campus, any of those things. For our purposes in this video, a local area network includes all of the devices that are on the network in your office. By contrast, a wide area network covers a much larger geographic distance. And for most small businesses What would be considered a wide area network is simply the internet. A small business is typically going to need both a local area network and a wide area network, aka the internet. Speaking of networks, let's talk about secure networks. First, let me explain why a network needs to be secured. Networks are actually vulnerable to attacks for many reasons. An attacker doesn't have to have a physical proximity to the network to hack it. There are many points of a network that can be attacked. A network is only as secure as its weakest link. Wireless networks especially are at a disadvantage because basically anyone can add or join the network. And networks are incredibly complex, which means it's very easy to overlook vulnerabilities. A secure network is one where threats are minimized through proper use of a firewall and network settings and practices. For more information on secure networks, I've linked to 2 separate videos, one on firewalls and one on internet security, so be sure to check those out. Next, let's discuss the word port. Port refers to a lot of different things in technology, but I'm just going to narrow it down to 2. The first port is a hardware port, and this is a pretty typical way to use the word. A hardware port is a pretty common way to use the word, and it refers to anything on a computer or other electronic device. A hardware port is probably the most common way to use the word, and it refers to a physical connection on a computer or other electronic device. These are your USB ports, your Thunderbolt ports, VGAs, serial ports. This is what makes connecting devices physically possible. But port can also be the act of porting software. Porting software is when an application that was made for a specific platform is made to work for another. So, for example, if a Mac user wanted to use a Microsoft product like Excel, the Excel software would have to be ported or essentially translated to work on the Mac operating system. That's a lot of information crammed into one video, and I've linked to even more helpful videos in the description, so be sure to check those out if you'd like to go more in depth on some of these topics. And if your business is interested in any of the products or services that VIP has to offer, give us a call at 918-279-7000, and if you mention that you saw this video on any of our social media platforms, then we'll get you set up with a free evaluation of all of your business technology needs. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.